All right, so here's a look at the mud flaps. I got them all installed. As you can see, lots of room for the hardware. Nice and sturdy. These things aren't going to come off. Got a nice wide protection here. Let's see if I can. It doesn't really give you a good. Let's see here. I'll use my phone. So there's my iPhone. As you can see, it's pretty darn wide area. Pretty good. Nice and sturdy. Unlike the rally armors that have a freaking bracket, this piece back here is all loose. This isn't. So these can still push if you hit a curb with these. My car's actually lowered a little bit, and I have scraped the bottom of this, but it doesn't hurt it. So these will move too, so you don't break anything. But like I said, nice wide coverage. That's what I was looking for with these, because that's going to protect the side of your car. The rally armors, they're not quite as thick there. They don't stick out as much, which means not as much protection. And when you have wider wheels or anything like that, these tires stick out further, so you want further protection. The rear, same thing, nice and sturdy. This top part is a little flappy up here, but there's nothing to connect to it. But what you're worried about is the bottom. This isn't moving anywhere, so that's not a big deal. It doesn't look out of place. It's level. Same thing with the other side. Nice good coverage for the side of the car back here. Mostly the front are the most important, because that's going to protect your doors and all that good stuff. So the front, nice good coverage. There you go, you can see a little bit of scrapage there. It's because my car's lowered a little bit. These are the short. These are like, I don't know, I'll have to do an annotation. I forget how much shorter these were. Either a ½ inch or inch and a half. I don't really remember. It might be an inch and a half. But your inch and a half, that's pretty big difference. That's a huge difference. So honestly, you don't need the long ones. The short ones are going to provide the side coverage that you really, really need. And I'm lowered a little bit, like I said, not a ton, but those do scrape going over speed bumps. All right, there's the Rokblokz for you. I love them. Nice and sturdy, short for lowered cars. They look great. It goes with the rest of the black I have and all that good stuff. All right guys, I'm going to show you how to install these Rokblokz mud flaps. I have the short version. I put them up on here, and they are pretty short, but I like that. Kind of more stealthy. These are bendable. You can bend these by hand pretty easy. A little more rigid going this way, but they should still give out if you hit a curb or bottom out or anything like that. The hardware should hold up. So first thing you need to do is take off 1, 2, 3 clips here on the front on the fender liner. I already took those off, sorry. They're just like this screwdriver. And then you have one of these on the bottom right there. So I lifted the car so I could get to this easier. You don't need to take your wheel off, just turn it all the way to the right and you can manage. So the first thing you're going to do is pull back this fender liner just enough, and you want to install these clips. You're screwing it in, and it's screwing into the back of here. So the back of that piece, it's going like that, and just line it up. This middle one doesn't like to line up perfect, but just get it as close as you can, and when you start screwing it in, it'll go in, so no worries there. The bottom one goes in nice. And then the last one, these are all the plastic ones. This one, you want the little nipple facing up, and that goes back there in that hole. And that, let's see, that one lines up decent, but not perfect. But like I said, once you start screwing it, it'll go in. Now the next thing to do is put this fender liner back nice. It tucks in here, So tuck in, and then it's on the outside over here. And then this little corner piece, just make sure you tuck that back in. Alright, so let me show you. It tucks in here, it comes out on top, and then it tucks back in on the bottom. Okay? Alright, next thing, this angle bracket. Doesn't matter which side, but go ahead and put this little clip on. Remember, this is the back side. So, alright, you got that lined up. So I'm putting it like this so the screw is going through it. Back side, remember that. Alright, now you're gonna line this up. What I did, I got this little LED light. So I put the light on the ground, and I'm gonna lay down so I can line this bottom hole up. For this metal L bracket, you're going to be using a short screw and this small washer with a big hole on it. So grab your screwdriver. I like this other screwdriver better. Alright, I don't know if you guys can see this, but that hole right there, look up through it and see if everything's lined up. I can see all the way through. It's not perfect, but like I said, once you start threading that screw in, it'll be good. So put this bracket here, boom, lined up with that hole, and then start screwing in. Apply some upward pressure, and it should grab that plastic clip up there. Alright, I can tell it's grabbing, and it's not all the way tight yet. You want to leave that a little bit loose so you can move this, so you can adjust the mud flap. Alright, next thing, you can go ahead and prep all these. Alright, and this little black spacer, this is for the long screw, which is going to be this bottom one. See how these are out, and this one's a little bit more recessed, so that's going to be the one for that. And that's actually the one I start with. So you can line it up, get your orientation right, and I'm going to do that spacer one first. You want to do that one first because if you put one of these other ones on, it's going to be hard to get to that one. So go ahead and place your hardware through, put your spacer on the back, and then go ahead and thread that in. Yep, I can feel it grabbing now, so that's good. Not very tight, just get it on there. Now take these.
Top one, just put it on there. Middle one.
And if you choose to keep your wheels on, I have to use a different screwdriver because this is a little bit shorter. I don't have a shorty, so if you have a shorty, it should work very well. And you can see in this back one, maybe you can't, I don't know. It's going to be screwing into the plastic a little bit. It's not a big deal. If you decide to remove these, it's not going to bug anything. It's only going through the fender liner. It's not going into the side skirt or anything like that. Alright, this is what you want. You want it on there, but you want to be able to move this around. Alright, so the next step is going to be, I recommend you drop the car, because if you try and straighten this, I did it on the other side, it doesn't work. So drop the car. And what I do is lay on the ground, and you can see how this is compared to the ground. So what you want to do is angle it, and for me it's pulling this corner all the way out and up. That seems to be the straightest. Alright, so I like what it looks like now. So just go ahead and hold that and tighten one of these down. Pretty much if you tighten one down, it's gonna stay.
Again, I'm not gonna tighten this 100% yet. I'll rub that back down a little. Let's check again. Kind of put your head beside it.
Alright, and to me that looks good. So just finish tightening these down. Don't over tighten them. You could snap those plastic pieces in the rear. So just get a good snug on them. And you're good to go. Alright guys. Alright, now the rear mud flaps. It's these weird looking things here. Alright, again I have the short, so they're shorter. And yeah, they go like this. You can see this whole opening. It's for this little jut right there. So, alright, let's show you how to do it. First you need to take out 2 clips. Pretty much the only 2 clips in there. And if you break one, not a big deal. We're not reusing these clips, so you don't need them.
Alright, boom.
Alright, let's see. So you got 2 of these little black things with long extensions on them. That's gonna go where you took those 2 clips out. So just push those in there. They're pretty hard to push in. You gotta get some force. What I used a hammer. It just worked really good. Light tap, and it's in there, I think. Alright. Same thing with this one. A little hard to get in there. A little light tap. Alright, you got an L bracket again. In the instructions it says you may have to bend it. I went ahead and bent it just a tiny bit on the other side. It seemed to work okay, so I'll do that again. Remember, the screw goes in and then it comes out the back. So we'll put this on this way. It's lined up with the hole. So it's gonna go like this and the screw is gonna go in. And since we're like this, we're gonna bend this bracket in some. So just on the concrete, it doesn't take much. You ain't gotta be strong to do this. So as you can see, it's not a 90 anymore. It's just barely bent. And for this one, you're gonna use a short screw and no washer actually on this one. So underneath, you need to take this white clip, and it's the one closer to the center of the car from this black clip. On the instructions it shows it pretty well. You gotta press this thing up super hard. Boom, it's in there. Alright, and now your bracket. So make sure when you got your bracket it's orientated. Screws going that way. And then just screw this thing in there. You ain't gotta go super tight because you're gonna wanna be able to adjust this. Alright, there we go. Can still move it around. Let's see, next we have the little plastic clip. We use these on the front. It's the same thing. You can see it has a little indentation for it there, so bada bing bada boom. Easy enough. Alright, same thing as last time. Go ahead and get these bad boys ready, put them through the washer. And like I said on the other one, the long screw is going to be with the spacer, and you want to put that one on first. And the spacer for this one is going to be this guy right here. Hit yourself with this thing. It can be confusing. Sometimes you don't know which way it goes on. Something like, I don't know, you want this guy hanging down, right? Nah. Alright. So that's the one that's going to use the spacer. Boom. Put the spacer on there. And then, try and get this bad boy started. Make sure to get it on there. Alright, so you can see it started. And then do the same thing with all the other ones. Alright, now you can move it a little bit. The rear doesn't have as much movement as the front. Pretty much the same thing. Get back. You can kind of see the angle of it. And you want this to be angled out more. So you want the outside edge sitting higher. That way when you lower it, it's going to lower level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this top corner, I'm going to pull it as hard as I can and far out as I can. And that's where I'm going to do it at. So holding tension on this, go ahead and tighten this guy down. You want to make sure you're holding tension when you are tightening this, otherwise the mud flap could move. So I got that one pretty tight. It looks like it's in the right place. So go ahead and tighten the other ones. Don't forget about the bottom one. Tighten all of them. Put your wheel on, drop it down, and you're good to go.